Dear Embark, what happened to this game? At one point in time, it had a concurrent player amount over 400,000, and now we're sitting at 30,000, all because y'all refuse to update the game and add any meaningful content to the game that would keep people playing. Meanwhile, there's games like Destiny 2 that have been out for 7, 8 years now, and it averages the same concurrent players in a day that this game is averaging. It's really sad to see that the fall off was so real for this game, all because the developers failed to capitalize on something that they had so good right in front of them. Like, come on, Embark. Y'all could do so much better, and this game deserves so much better, and the fan base deserves so much better than what y'all have been giving. Y'all given the same things for months and months and months with very little content to keep players engaged into the game. And I can't fully blame it on Embark. I can partially blame it on the fan base as well because it was a constant battle between PvP and PvE and what does the game need, as far as players crying, some players saying that PvP is, too harsh and players in PvP need to be put in their own lobbies, and it was constantly torn between the two fan bases of what's better for the game. So Embark was fighting a losing battle as far as that goes. I can't speak for everybody, but I can say for my own self that most of the time what I did was I would PvP with my friends in, duos or trios. But then in my solo lobbies, I would do my best to keep them friendly just in case I would need that to gather materials and resources and other things that were just more difficult to gather in PvP lobbies and quests that were more difficult to complete in PvP lobbies. So I like to do a little bit of both just to keep my lobbies more balanced and I could complete everything and experience everything that the game had to offer at its base form. But at a certain point, what the developers add and don't add affects what the game has to experience at a certain point. And it's just very disheartening to see the current state of the game and where it's ended up. It's just very sad to see how far this game has fallen. And I'm nobody big, but I would really like to see this game return to its previous state and really have more content to enjoy. I think adding a few new guns, maybe a couple new maps, and a couple more game modes. I can give Embark some credit on adding, the different map effects like the hurricane and other effects that they've added. Those are really good, but maybe add some mini map effects to the map itself. Maybe have the larger ones, but also in smaller areas on the map have different effects that are going on while the bigger ones are also going on. And to all the fans that are, regardless if you're PvP, if you're PvE, or somewhere in between, can we all come together so we can possibly save this game and get it back to the former glory that it used to be and really all enjoy the content that the developers do bring to us when they do bring it. I know that there's a big update coming October, and hopefully it's enough to save this game. But if not, I think we have seen the rise and the fall of Arc Raiders completely in the full. I think we witnessed the entire lifespan in less than a year. The game came out not even a full year ago, and it's basically already dead. I mean, I know a lot of people are probably going to be in the comments saying, well, Tim, 30,000 concurrent players, that's not completely dead, but compared to where it was and where other games in the past compare, it's kind of crazy. I mean, people say a game like Fortnite that has 1.5 to 2 million daily players is dead compared to where it used to be. So I think it's safe to say that, a 480,000 peak concurrent player count compared to a 30,000 concurrent player count that we're at today is very safe to say that this game is dead. Not that I want it to be dead. I don't want that to be the case at all. I'm really hopeful and I really think that we could save this game if the developers A add more content and B the players enjoy the game for what it is rather than constantly being at each other's throat about PvE, PvP, and everything like that. If we could just all come together and agree on, content that's going to be meaningful and beneficial for both groups of players because it's an extraction game at the end of the day. So, it's got to have the combination of PvP and PvE in each game mode. I've seen a lot of people say they need to add a PvE game mode. A lot of people say they need to add only PvP map modes. And yeah, maybe that might do a little bit for the game, but I don't think that's the end all be all. I think that more people need to agree on, a set of content that, a PvE player can enjoy, but also a PvP player can enjoy. And I'm not a game developer by no means, but I think that there is something that Embark could do, as big of a studio as they are, and as big of a game that this was. I think that they could definitely come up with something that would bring the fan base back and bring the fan base together. I know I'm just a voice amongst many voices that have voiced their opinion of this game. Big streamers like Burnt Peanut, Tim the Tatman, Ninja, even. Everybody has quit playing this game and moved on, and also moved backwards to games from the past that they once enjoyed. And I just don't think that that's fair, for this game. I think that Embark should do better about adding content to this game that people will actually genuinely enjoy. I mean, the last time they did an update, it's been months now with Rival Tides, and I just don't know that that was enough to really keep people playing. And obviously, it wasn't enough because the fall off has happened after Rival Tides, and maybe it was happening a little bit before Rival Tides, but even after adding that, the concurrent player amount has dropped dramatically even since then. And I really do truly believe that there's something they could do and we could do as a fan base to save this game. I don't think that it could be immediate, but maybe it could. And I know I'm kind of rambling at this point, and I keep repeating the same points, but I just thoroughly enjoyed this game at a certain point in time, and I want it to be more enjoyable. And maybe I'm, you know, putting all this out there and not enjoying the game for what it is. I just think that there's not much content to enjoy. I think they add maybe a little bit more of a story and a little bit more of maybe a backstory of how did humanity get to this point in this game, like what got us to there. And I want there to be more. I want there to be more to enjoy. And I know that it's highly doubtful that they even see this video, but if it's possible, I at least feel I need to voice my opinion in any way I can. And this is my first video like this, and if y'all enjoy, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I do appreciate all of y'all that tune in. Comment anything you think in the comments that would also help this game. And if you made it this far in the video, comment to Trading Tim. I'm just curious of anybody that would even make it this far. So if you make it this far, comment to Trading Tim. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
Is that another shredder? Yeah, crawl back in there. I don't know what that is. Somebody was over here trying to.